Hey guys, here we are with another installment with Chats. And we are with another very interesting individual. This young man is making waves through the energetics industry with his brand of easily accessible, relatable, and digestible Qigong content. Among other things, he's also a motivational coach, a calisthenics instructor, a publisher, and author of the comprehensive Qigong manual. Today, we have Mr. Reese Dunn, also known affectionately as Reese the Flame. How are you today, sir?
I'm overwhelmed, man. I'm overwhelmed. Like, I'm just letting you know that was the best intro that I've ever experienced. You got me down to a T. Thank you, man.
No problem, man. No problem.
Thank you for having me. How you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. I should actually ask you, how are you feeling? Looks like you have some great scenery back there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, let me show you, man. Let me show you. I'm in Egypt right now, if you must know, and I'm in a place called Dahab. It's a very, very lovely.
Wow, that is incredibly beautiful.
Soak it all in.
Does look like paradise, my friend.
Leaning into the paradise.
Well, I do have to thank you very much for taking a little bit of time from paradise to come and speak with me a little bit, you know? So, Mr. Reese, okay, so this interview is based around your martial arts and your Qigong background, all right? Could we start with how did you get started into martial arts and Qigong, and what style was it that you started?
Yeah, how did I get into martial arts? I was about 18, and I'd been living in the Middle East for a while. I used to come back and see my friends because I was kind of living this spun life of doing a job that most people do when they're like 30, I guess. So I was ahead of my time, and when I go back to the UK, I just wanted to do my normal things, you know, just do like see my friends from school, you know, hang out, play video games and stuff. And I went to my friend's house, and his pops, who's from the Caribbean as well, he practiced Wing Chun. And Wing Chun, he showed us just some things. And I think the first thing I saw was him, the grounded energy of him, like pulling one person this way and then seeing another opponent and still being able to deal with them in a very grounded way. That fascinated me, and I was just extremely curious, and I asked him a million questions, and he said he'd show me some things. And I'm a very disciplined person, and discipline moves my destiny. And so I embodied that so many times of the day. I did the Lim Tao form. And I would sometimes be restless at night and not sleep. So I would just go downstairs and do the Lim Tao in like 3 a.m. in the morning and stuff like that, which I believe is your practice sometimes happens very early too. So yeah, man, that's how I got started. My first practice of Kung Fu was in Wing Chun, and then it evolved from there.
Did you start your Qigong practice, not just the teaching, but just, you know, learning and, you know, practicing your Qigong, was that much further after your start in the martial arts?
No. So my start in martial arts was when I was 18. I'd not done anything before that. I'd had like a couple fights in school, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was athletic, so I never got hurt, essentially. But other than that, until 18, I didn't have any fighting experience. But Qigong I started when I was 16, and I was recommended it by my doctor because I used to have epilepsy when I was younger. And my experience of the pharmaceutical drugs left my hands with like a tremor. And so normal tasks were very, very difficult for me, like writing, fine motor skill tasks. Athletic, big expenditure tasks weren't difficult at all. Because when it came to fine motor skills, I was very, like, struggled in school with writing and things like this. So at 16, I started Qigong, which is about 8 years ago from now. The first video I ever did was called 7 Minutes in Heaven. And it's a really easy video on YouTube. And I remember after 7 minutes, I looked at my hands and I was like, this is the first time in maybe 8 years. So from the age of 8 until 16, I was on pharmaceutical drugs. In 8 years, I hadn't seen my hands stable, you know? And after 7 minutes, we're talking about 7 minutes now, I'm seeing my hands are all stable and stuff. So I was really, really happy about that. And so I continued the practice for those 2 years. I was teaching calisthenics, and it just, it helped me out, man. Basically, that's what ended up happening. So we had those 8 years of pharmaceuticals, from 16 till now. Another 8 years I've been practicing Qigong, and 6 years of Kung Fu.
And no more pharmaceutical drugs?
No. Nope.
None.
Nope.
None
I was
whatsoever.
actually off of them at the age of 15, but the side effects had just like messed up my hand, essentially. So yeah, no more need. No more need.
No, wow, that's absolutely incredible, man. So you see the practice of Qigong itself, your body absolutely lets go the need for pharmaceutical drugs. The next question, what style of Qigong do you practice and teach?
I would start by saying that I am more of a fusion coach when it comes to Qigong, because I was, I guess, more like a researcher of Qigong in the way that I studied it. Meaning I just wanted to understand everything from all angles, from everywhere. And I didn't approach it in the way that I was looking for the perfect school or the perfect teacher or, you know, these kind of things. I was just more researching the topic of Qigong and what I can learn from all angles of the topic. So I would say I don't teach a particular style of Qigong. And you'll see in my book, which you can see on Amazon, it's called The Comprehensive Qigong Manual, which I don't have a copy with me on my person right now, but whoa! There it is. Yes.
I got my copy, friend. What's even better about it is I got it signed by the author.
Yes. Yes. So if you look even inside, would you be able to just do like a quick flick open? On this chapter, it's the universal laws expressed in Qigong. Okay. And so I myself recognize that gravity was a big law, because I'd like to move it from east to west when I'm speaking to people about it, so that it can be digestible. Our main, intention with the Qigong for myself. And so obviously I saw that gravity was a big thing, which the rate of free fall is 9.8 meters per second squared, which is like, that's like the drop. And Qigong is all about letting the energy ground, and that is literally the mathematical equation for the grounding to take place. And there's a lot of other things like vortex math that I put in there, because Qigong is all about creating this like force field, this vortex experience around you, so that your toroidal field is open. And so we spoke about energy arts and things like this. But just with all of this to say that I'm a fusion coach, and I did not study with any particular school, but I myself absorbed from the information from my personal experience of practicing and seeing if this information works for me, and then also just those around me like yourself, Mark, who have studied in schools and studied, you know, in the traditional and formal fashion, and just learning from you all and learning from all of it. So yeah, that's my...
I have to actually commend you on that. The array of information that you're able to share, that's minuscule in comparison to what's already up here, right? Because anything that you share is small in comparison to what you already know, right?
Wow.
So you have to think about it.
What you said. You know, them one just caught what you said.
No, but you know, it's a very true thing, you know. So I have to commend you on that, you know, since you're one of the rare people that I have met who actually has more experience in their Qigong than they do in their martial arts. Mostly for me and mostly for everybody in my circle, they have more experience in the martial arts first.
Yeah.
Then they got into Qigong, like myself.
Yeah.
So I do have to ask you this, right? How does one make their... Actually, I'll make it a twofold question, right? First, how does one make their Qigong practice martial, right? And is there a similarity between Qigong and your particular style of martial art?
I think the gravity thing is important, the gravity thing, because martial arts is moving, it's in motion. So I like to have a visual myself of Qigong. Qigong and, you know, like the style of Tai Chi as well. They're very much, you're in your own bubble, you know, like it's like you've created your own bubble and you're working within that bubble. And you're creating more subtle, peaceful energies inside that bubble. And it's good. It's good to do that. It's healthy. And your body needs it. As it relates to martial arts now, the things that you've created in your bubble, especially to me, especially the relaxation that you create in like your pelvis, particularly like your PC muscles, your sphincter, these muscles, yeah, exactly. The way that Qigong relaxes these muscles is important for martial arts. Especially when Kung Fu, for example, it's a striking, wrestling, and contact, which most importantly for this part, contact. And when you get that contact, these muscles, if they still have that personality of Qigong, then you are the most grounded that you can be to uproot your opponent. And I've found that off of a lot of testing, because I did like a lot of Wing Chun practicing, and then I went and tried to like spar with my friends and stuff, and I'm trying to use my Wing Chun, and I'm getting beaten up, and I'm like, bro, whoa, I'm like, bro, I've been studying, I've been doing my forms, you know, and I'm like, why am I not kicking ass right now, you know? And then I started to realize that there were things I'm doing good, but there are some other things that in contemporary Kung Fu practices, the way that they're taught in the West anyway, because I haven't been to the East to know, because I've heard some other things in the East, that the way they're taught in the West is that the pressure testing isn't like congruent. It's not, it doesn't have the energy. It doesn't go, the pressure, like if I study Wing Chun with you, let's give it like this, making it up. I study Wing Chun and I'm studying to do sticky hand. Fundamentally, what I'm trying to say is that pressure testing is something that I think is lacking in a lot of Western kung fu spaces, not martial arts spaces, but kung fu spaces. And so I went out and pressure tested myself with the things I know and realized that kung fu is best conceptually. Martial artist really needs to know how to dance their fight, and then once they make contact, once they make that contact, then this is when your kung fu conceptually happens for about 0.5 of a second. For about 0.5 of a second, and it should be as quick as that. It should be like everything you're training for should be for that moment when you touch the person and you just finish the situation. And that's over the past four years of just not recording it, but fighting lots of people of lots of different sizes as well. You must know that I'm like 5'7", 5'8", so I'm not a tall guy. Fighting lots of different body types. That's what I've learned, is that you need to dance your fight. Your kung fu only works for a quick second, and finish it quickly. Finish the situation really quickly, or get out of there really quickly. Just fighting's really fighting. It's really dangerous. You need to be fast. Yeah.
All right, no problem. So no problem. But I do have one more question. Okay.
Okay.
And I usually this question, as I said, is you're the first guest I have that's actually younger than me. I actually thought I would change it, like geared towards you because of your age, right? You're in your early 20s. I decided this morning, no, I'm not going to change it just because of your age. You still are teaching the new generation. So with that, I will ask you, if you could teach the new generation just one thing, what would it be?
Yeah, actually, that's a great question, man. I think that anime, have you heard of anime before?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that anime is the way, man. Yeah, anime is the way. Like I have like a million friends my age, and I'm gonna say that at least 60 to 70% of them watch anime.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and so when I'm around them, yeah, I just sometimes I have fun and I'm like, I do this to them, and they do it all back. They do it back perfectly. They move the energy in the right way, and they do it perfectly. I'm just telling you that I believe that anime is the way, because young people are watching. They're watching these shows that basically have Eastern martial arts going on, inspired by kung fu, inspired by the elements, because we work with the elements, inspired by animals, inspired by breath work. The movements are all the same, and sometimes in the animes they even show you even more creative movements that you won't see in any kung fu school. But if you apply it to your own movement patterns, it will still be applicable. When I wrote my book, I don't want to go on too much of a detour, but when I wrote my book, I recognized and received this like responsibility that I'm actually preserving a culture. The culture of Chinese medicine is being preserved through this book, and so yeah, we have to preserve it. And to me, anime is the way forward for that, for young people and for the next generation moving forward, for sure.
All right. So you say basically teach things through anime.
Yeah, well, I don't know the how yet. I'm not going to get worried about the how, but that's the what. For me, that's the what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
How? I don't
well,
even know. Maybe we can formulate and see what we could do, man.
no. What's funny that you say that is like I saw a video by this YouTuber by the name, I think his name is Kevin Lee, right?
Okay.
And I think he was doing he's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu martial artist, among other martial arts as well, right? And I think he and another martial artist were breaking down moves from a anime. I forget which one exactly, but they were
Yeah.
breaking on Brazilian jiu-jitsu moves from
Wow.
an anime
Wow.
episode, right? And they were
Wow.
actually, and it was actually the animation was absolutely spot on,
Spot
correct
on. Yes.
jiu-jitsu,
Yes.
and
Yes.
so it was
Yes.
so it's funny how you say that. It's
Yeah.
just I instantly thought of that video, and I just saw that video probably like a couple nights ago.
I think this is just the beginning of this conversation. You know.
Essentially, your answer is teach in a digestible, accessible way, relatable way. Okay, I completely get you. Thank you very much, Mr. Reese Dunn, also known as Mr. Reese the Flame. All right. It's been a real good conversation, my friend, and I thank you so much for taking time out of paradise to speak a little bit with me. All right.
Hey, Mr. Mark Wynter, each and every time, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much, my friend. Yo, have a good day now.
Puss.